Now, a serious emergency has been declared in Scotland as Storm Babet continues to batter the country. 2 deaths have now been confirmed as a 57-year-old woman was swept into a river and a 56-year-old man was hit by a tree while driving. In Aberdeen, police are also searching for a man trapped in a vehicle in floodwater, and the Met Office has warned more rainfall is to come, while rivers have risen to more than 4 metres above their normal levels. Many schools are also closed. Well, still in the studio with me is Sam Armstrong, but also joining us now is Jim Dale. He's author of Whether or Not: The Personal and Commercial Impacts of Weather and Climate. Good afternoon. So nice to get you in the studio.
Yeah, it makes a real change. We've debated and
we have
a little bit on Zoom and all
very
the rest
nice.
Of it.
He exists in real life.
Nice to be
He's
in
got
real
legs
life.
and everything. Honestly,
yeah, I got legs.
Jim, right? Look, this is horrific. What's going on in Scotland? Those of us who have had their home flooded. As I have, I've got a basement part of my flat. We know the full horror of what that is when your home is so completely destroyed like that. Talk us through where this storm has come from and what it's caused by.
OK, so Babet.
Babet, sorry.
Babet was named by, I think it's the Dutch, actually, rather than the British. But
well, that's got to change.
Well, look, it's a cooperation thing between the Irish, the Dutch and ourselves. It came from the Canaries, down in the Canaries. Very hot temperatures there, record hot temperatures at the time of year. This is a couple of weeks ago. Sea temperatures more or less the same in terms of being right up there. So that's where it got its energy from. Slow moving past the west coast of Spain, past the west coast of France, and now over ourselves.
It hit Ireland first before Scotland.
Yes, it did. Cork got the brunt of it first of all. Floods there, so carrying a heavyweight amount of water, of rain. And then it's continued to move slightly further north. It's not very far away now. It's more or less centred over England, swirling around, and that's where it is with the main rain now in that central zone of the UK, and that's what it's doing. So it got blocked off by the high that was over Scandinavia. That's why it came to a shuddering halt, and one of the reasons why it gave the intense rainfall it's
right, indeed. Look, we're seeing some areas which, look, some of them have been flooded before, but hey, I don't think that makes it any easier. No. Where we're seeing places just, people having to be removed from their homes, schools being closed, people losing their lives on the roads, being swept into a river. These are horrific, horrific scenes. How much longer is this going to go on? Or is, as you say, is this being stopped in its tracks?
It's stopping in its tracks, and eventually by this time tomorrow, we should be seeing the backside of it, if I can use that terminology. What will then occur are follow-up showers. Some of those could be thundery, so you still have to be aware of it. And do remember that it takes time for river levels to reach their peak. So there's a little bit of that as well. Yeah,
so the rivers could still be rising.
The mountains. Scottish people know all about this, and people living in and around the Pennines the same. So there's a little bit of time lapse to go before we get there, and Sunday will be a much better day for us all.
Well, let's certainly hope. There have been warnings from the Met Office, of course, as you mentioned, continued danger to life from fast-moving and deep floodwaters and flooding of homes and businesses. And we've got some of the footage people are watching on television, some huge storms. OK, here's the question, you're all waiting for it. Is this weather, or are you going to claim this is down to climate change? Because we've never had storms or flooding before, ever.
Somehow, Julie, I knew you were going to say that. I don't know why. Anyway, look, I've already mentioned where this came from, OK, the heat that's involved. Now, this storm probably, arguably, would have happened anyway. All right?
Get that on record.
OK, get it on record, but also get this on record. In the fact that when it becomes so intense, there is a topping. The topping is provided by that extra energy and heat that is put into the atmosphere that enables the atmosphere to hold more water, and therefore the candle on the cake, or in this case just the icing on the cake, as in a wildfire, the icing on the cake is almost certainly down to climate change.
But we're always told this whenever there's any weather at all. So we have a mild winter, we have a cold winter, we have a wet winter or autumn, we have heat, we don't have heat. The amount of times that this is actually down to just particularly weather fronts moving in a certain way. Yes, we can have some more extreme heats, some extreme colds. But it's like this place, one of the places that's Brecon that's been flooded. It's been flooded,
before.
Dozens of times before.
It has, and that does not necessarily mean that what happened previously was anything to do with climate change or not. It may well not have been.
But it only is now.
No, it's not. No,
what was the year when every bit of bad weather or good weather that we got became climate change, as opposed to
Julia, with respect, you've got to join the dots and look around the world. What's been going on in these last 2 years? Unless you've been eyes closed on a holiday somewhere, you've missed it all. And
what have I missed?
Look, I tell you what you've missed. Over these last 2 years, I've never done so many interviews that, you know, I'm a meteorologist at the end of the day, and you think, well, once in a blue moon, I might get to talk about X.
We talk about
Y.
weather a lot.
Yeah.
A, we love talking about weather, and B, there's so much focus on the weather in the media because of these claims of climate change.
I'm going to make a prediction for you, okay? On air, and that is 2024 will be worse than 2023.
Worse in what way?
Worse in terms of the impacts that are around the world. Yeah, we have to wait for them to happen into the UK. We got one now. But it'd be worse in terms of the impacts, in terms of the severity of them and the spread of them.
But this is the thing. We know from official data, it's not me saying official data, that actually there's not been an increase globally in terms of cyclones and typhoons and hurricanes. It's not been an increase in droughts, not been an increase in wildfires. And we talk about all these things as everyone always talks about. They've never happened before. It's all a complete change. And it's all suddenly, I mean, the idea it's all just suddenly happened in the last few years. And it's frankly a load of nonsense. There is less damage done from extreme weather now. There are 99% fewer people dying from extreme weather now because of our ability to mitigate extreme weather.
Yeah,
why are we talking about it as if it's some sudden new disaster? Man has never been more able to mitigate and control bad weather.
Julia, we are in a situation now where we're getting good at warnings. That's a critical part of it. One of the things that you can say about Storm Babet... No, we're very good. And to be honest with you, irrespective of what you believe or what I believe...
No, it's not a belief. I'm citing facts. Those
you're
all
not.
Facts. No, those are all official statistics.
OK, so I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
Heat deaths have just overtaken cold deaths.
No, they haven't.
Example. Oh, yes,
no,
they have.
No,
yes,
cold
they have.
deaths from cold, even in Africa, are 9 times that as from heat.
Let's just say this,
That's
OK?
Absolute nonsense.
No, it's not. It is not.
Where have they overtaken?
Look,
where have they overtaken?
We're talking globally.
Globally. More people are dying from heat than from cold. That's an absolute
It is now the first year that percent.
Look, so a year ago, 9 times as many people were dying from cold as from heat, and suddenly in the last year it's changed the other way.
It's caught up. Look, have you?
What's your source?
Have you not seen what's been going on in America, for example, in Texas and places like this? Have you not seen
they had heat waves.
In India, in China, all of these records?
Listen
to me. Records have been falling like absolute ninepins.
Sam, I'm going to let you get 30 seconds in. Come on.
Look, nobody's getting cooked in an oven in Texas or wherever else. But what there has been is floods in Scotland for time immemorial. But what happened last night was that there were concrete drains and there were cars and rescues, all powered by fossil fuels that came to save the day.
This is the thing. If we didn't have fossil fuels, we wouldn't be able to manage this. That's how human beings.
Tell you what we have to do, Julia. If I may, Julia,
very
if I may
quickly,
say
10
this.
seconds.
Yeah, OK. Look, we need to be positive. Whether you quote your facts, I quote my facts. We have to look.
You didn't quote a fact. That was completely made up.
So you say. So I'm the meteorologist.
Email me later and tell me where you got it from. Right, we're out of time.
Okay.
Jim Delt, such a pleasure to get you in the studio. Come in again.